I'm Minerva. I am a Happy Healthy Woman branch director, and I'm a manifestation coach. I'm actually doing this on two platforms, on Instagram, a Goddess of Wisdom Coach, as well as Happy Healthy Women live event. And I wanted to come to you and declare that I will be doing this weekly with you, these manifesting masterclasses, manifesting moments with you. And every week I'm going to bring you short, to the point, potent manifestation masterclasses to help move you towards creating the reality that you desire in your money, business, and life. And today, the topic that I'm going to bring to you is, I have my notes ready. How are you supposed to create a new reality when you're stuck in a shitty one? How do you create a new reality when you're stuck in a shitty one? So what do I mean by that? I actually just got off a call, my Manifest membership call. It's a monthly call I do with my membership members. And that program, if you don't know, is about mastering your being to create the reality that you desire. You're really good at manifesting, but you're just not conscious and intentional with it enough. And actually, when you do lock into your core being, you can manifest so much faster, so much greater, with more potency, and do and live and be what it is that you were put on this earth to do. So in this call today, I take you further in anchoring your being. And one of the members said to me after the call is, how are you supposed to accept your reality if you are in a shitty situation? What if you're really struggling with money? What if you're in an abusive or toxic relationship? Not that she's specifically in this, but what are you supposed to do when you're not in the desirable circumstance that you desire to be? Because if you're not in a space that you feel lit up and excited and supported and fueled and fulfilled, how do you create a reality that you do want? Are you supposed to just fake it till you make it? Are you supposed to bypass it? Are you supposed to do that positive, toxic thinking of like, everything's fine, I'm going to be positive? No, we don't do any of that. And she actually said, like, it's like putting icing on a shit cake. And sorry for all the swearing. Hopefully you all are okay with that. So how do you do that? How do you create a different reality without bypassing and without faking it, without ignoring it as well? We don't want you to do any of that. I don't want you to do any of that, because it's just going to perpetuate it and you're not going to see any results. You're going to see little and none and come back to that self-defeating, that victim, that powerless state of being and feel like nothing is working for you. So what do you do if you're not in the ideal circumstance? Financially, you're struggling, your business is not where you want it to be, or you're not in a healthy relationship. How are you supposed to envision and feel and believe that something different is possible for you? That overflow is possible, that you can have a business full of clients, that you can be in a healthy, happy relationship. All of those things are possible, and this is how you do it without faking it until you make it. So 3 steps for you. Get your pen and paper out. Number 1 is you need to take responsibility for your part of it. Okay? You need to take responsibility for your part of it. So these are things that I have done myself. So when I was taking a serious look at my finances, it wasn't where I wanted it to be. I was in a space like a couple years ago where I'm like, oh my gosh, I may have to close the doors to my businesses. I came from the biggest high of my business to the biggest low, and I was panicking. And how do you create abundance and overflow from a state where you just notice that is just scarce? It's lack. You're not where you want to be. So how do you create abundance and overflow and what you want when you're in this space? So number 1 is really taking responsibility for your part in it. Because one thing that really shifted for me is taking a look at it, not from a place of judgment, but taking a look at it and be like, okay, if I created this, then I can create that. Taking full responsibility for my part in the creation, because everything is just responding to me. The universe, the law of attraction is always just responding to me. So if I can create lack, If I can create scarcity, if I can create struggle, then I can create overflow. So number one is taking responsibility for your part in it. And I went deeper into this with one of my members who messaged me about this, and I said, she's like, how do you do that if, not that she's in a toxic relationship, but she's like, what if someone is in an abusive relationship? How do you just accept what is, and how do you create something? Are you supposed to be in the relationship and be like, I love this person, forgive them, blah blah blah? And I said, number one is taking responsibility for their part in it, for what attracted it, for what created it in their life, because what created it doesn't just happen to just anybody. And I've been in some really bad relationships. For me, it always came from this core belief that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't deserve more. And so I was in a very powerless state, which then attracted and allowed this relationship, this person in my life, and I engaged in it. So to change any circumstance, whether it's financial, in your business, or in your personal life, we need to take responsibility, 100% responsibility for our part in it. And it's not from a blaming place, it's not from a judgment place, it's from an empowered place. Like, wow, I created this, I allowed this, I engaged, I allowed this to be, I was open to this, I set this standard for myself. And if I can set this standard for myself, what standard could I then make? So this is where we want to be in the mindset in terms of responsibility, as not from a blame place, it's from an empowered state of seeing your power, in creation. Okay. So number one is taking responsibility for your part in it, whether it's financial, professional, or personal. Number two is then you need to be loving and forgiving towards yourself. You need to be loving and forgiving towards yourself. So no matter the circumstance, whether it's lack in your finances, whether it's lack in your business, whether you're not where you want to be romantically, you don't have what it is that you want in your life, do not go into a state of judgment, shame, guilt, embarrassment, because that's actually just going to perpetuate the experiences in your life, because it has such a strong, that's your practice dominant frequency, and everything is created and responding to your frequency. So it's important to then, when you take responsibility, to move into a place of, and this is what acceptance really is truly loving and forgiving yourself for that version of yourself that allowed it to be, for that version of yourself that believed this was all you were capable of. Right? So for me, when I started forgiving myself for the debt I accumulated, for where I was financially, for letting clients down, or me telling myself I let people down, I took a look at myself, and I looked at that version of myself, and I truly started forgiving her and showing love and compassion to her, that version of myself. And I shared this in my manifest group, that one of the statements that I use that I find helps with forgiving and loving yourself is the Ho'oponopono prayer. Hopefully I said it right. I've been practicing it. I'm not always the best at saying that, but in this prayer, it's a Hawaiian prayer of true forgiveness and love. So what I do is I tune into that version of myself, that old version of myself, and I say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I say that 10, 11 times. And when I say that, I release, I just feel this weight. I feel this energy just move through me and just release when I'm truly being loving and forgiving towards myself. Loving, forgiving to myself that believed that to that limit, that believed that's all I was capable of, that allowed that in my life, that believed those lies, that was operating from poor conditioning. And we all have that. It was operating from an unconscious being. And so it's important to then move into a state of loving and forgiving yourself before we can start creating more consciously. Okay, so recap: number one is taking full responsibility for your part in your creation, in your experience. And then number two, being loving and forgiving towards yourself, especially when you start feeling shame and guilt and embarrassment. That's just going to hold you back. So what you need to do is truly love and forgive yourself, because that's just going to release you. It just opens you up. You're not carrying that energetic imprint that is weighing you down, and that's just going to repeat the cycle of creating more lack in what it is that you don't want in your life. So being truly loving and forgiving to yourself, repeat that prayer or any other prayer, any statements that you like, but truly feeling that release, truly feeling the feelings of forgiving and loving yourself. And if you have to take a little longer at this step, then so be it. But there's no bypassing this, because you're just going to keep creating on top of that pain, on top of that shame, on top of that lack. You're just going to keep repeating that, and it's just going to be something that's just kind of like that pimple under the surface that is not going to go away until you fully heal it. I don't know why pimple came to mind, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. And then number 3, once you've taken responsibility, once you've truly love and forgive yourself, you will feel a shift, honestly, when you do this. When you feel that lightness and this load, you return to your true self, your true being, and that's the space to operate from. And then what you do from that space is then you can choose differently and consciously. This is where you start creating a new reality. You start choosing differently and consciously. So in the relationship part of it, if you're in a toxic relationship, and even if you were and you're not anymore, I think it's so important to go back. I recently did this to myself. Like, people I didn't think still had an impression on me, I was still carrying that energetic imprint within me. It was holding me back and affecting me in my business and in every area personally too as well. So it's just so important to go back to that space to truly release and love yourself and forgive yourself for those moments of who you were being. And then from that state, once you're from this cleansed, clear palette, then you can choose, who do I want to be? What do I want to create? What would this require of me? How do I need to think? What do I need to do? And this is what's going to move you forward in creating the reality that you want, and stop creating that shit cake, right? Where it looks like perfect on the outside or very surface, you're just scratching the surface, but deep down inside, it's not what you want it to be. And it's just kind of like this ticking bomb that's ready to blow. And so this is how you get back to creating consciously. Take responsibility for your life. Truly love and forgive yourself for the version of you that you chose to be or unconsciously were being that created this and allow this in your life, because you are the manifester. You are the creator. And then third, you can choose every minute of every day. You can choose again and again who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have in your life, and how you want to think. So these are my 3 steps for you in creating a new reality when the current one is just not what you desire it to be. And any reality can change. And just honor and bless yourself, honor and bless your current circumstances, and just know that it's so beautiful. And ideally, nothing is right or wrong, good or bad. It is just feedback to who you were choosing to be. And you can create any reality you want to create. So I hope you found this helpful. Please let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be back weekly with these manifestation moments and masterclasses. If there is a topic that you would love me to go deeper on, please leave it, because I would love to make sure I'm fulfilling those things that keep reoccurring in your mind, or and break those bad habits, so that you can start creating and being who you were truly meant to be. And if you desire to go further, take a look at my Manifest membership. It is just $150 per month, and you get a group call, you get weekly manifestation riffs, you get a Q&A with me, and you get free access to any of the masterclasses I run in 2025. The prices are going to increase in January, but I'll leave the details below and see if it's something that resonates and pulses in your heart. I would love to have you there. And thank you so much all for watching.